Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bulletproof Marketer. I am your host, Christopher Tompkins. What is this episode going to be all about? We are going to talk about something that has come up as a hot topic lately, which is LinkedIn lead generation or a LinkedIn lead funnel and what that means, what that looks like, how you can execute it. I have some really clear cut ideas on how you can execute this for yourself or just get it ready to try out and test it to see if it is a good fit for you. So, I'm going to share those tips with you on today's episode. So, you're going to get some step by step information, some secret tips and hacks, a lot of other good things that are going to help you really fortify your LinkedIn strategy going forward. So, tune in. Before we get started, I wanted to give all of you out there that have been reaching out to me a big thank you. It's so great to get the feedback from the episodes. Sometimes when I'm doing the show, I feel like I'm screaming into the ether, even though I'm not really screaming. It's a lot of content that we're putting out. So it's nice to see that it is resonating with you all out there and you are finding some really good things to just jump into and trying some tactics. What is most impressive to this guy is that you're asking follow-up questions. And I really like that. Why? Because it shows that you're seeking clarity in how you are marketing your company or the company that you're working for currently. And as a marketer, that makes my heart sing because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be interested. You're supposed to approach things with curiosity rather than, all right, I got to get this shit done. Let's go. Because then you're not worried about the process. You're focused on the result. You have to be fully present as you're going through marketing. I like to have that open dialogue with you all. If you are not connected with me on LinkedIn already, go ahead and do it. The link is in the description, rather, of this show. We're at link in bio. Like you can, I would say, definitely check out the show description. You'll find some good links there to LinkedIn. And if you do connect with me, just say that you listen to the show. And if you have a question, say, hey, I listened to your recent episode and I have a question, follow up. That helps me understand that you are top priority on that list of my connections because I do get connection requests quite often and I don't want you to get lost in the mix. Okay. So just state your purpose and you will be allowed in. You'll have entrance. That sounded weird. Anyway, if you need some great tips and tricks or tactics and strategies, please check out thegoagency.com. It's thegoagency.com. Always imitated, but never duplicated. You'll find a lot of Go agencies out there. Why? Because they all came out after I've been around. So we've been around for almost 20 years now, helping out companies, small and large, local to global, with their digital marketing efforts. But I'm not giving you a pitch of my agency. I would rather just have you check out the blog and check out our free ebook because there's lots of really great information there that will just help you take a different angle on how you do digital marketing. Now, if you're coming here for the first time, I always like to just set everyone's expectations as to what you're going to get out of it. A meeting with me at the BPM. And Bulletproof Marketer, it was born out of necessity because it's a necessity for me to help other people learn from other people's mistakes. I talk to people all the time, whether it's a media interview, a client, a potential client, a staff member, someone that we're training, someone that I'm consulting with. I get a lot of different points of view on how people are viewing marketing and different tactics and strategies or even campaigns and how they're run. And I do see things that I think, oh my gosh, if they're feeling this way, there's probably a lot of other people out there that are feeling that way. And as marketers, sometimes we can have a little touch of Stockholm syndrome because we may not feel like we're getting those results as fast as possible. And oh, maybe we're terrible. Maybe we should just abandon this. What I'm trying to do is make you feel more sane and help you look at some different types of marketing with fresh eyes. So that's the whole goal. Straight from the horse's mouth here. This is very direct, no gray area. I'm just going to say how I feel. And you can freely disagree with anything that I have to say because it's my opinion. I've seen a lot of this from my experience working in the industry. For you to hear from another digital marketer, but also a digital marketer that leads up an agency that handles many different clients, just to see what's going on. So that is my smooth segue to our next section, which is the LinkedIn lead generation. Okay. Anytime that I hear LinkedIn and lead generation put together, I kind of feel icky. Why do I feel icky? I feel icky because I feel that lead generation always seems very aggressive, not always that holistic, and aggressive again. And also, I feel like it can be nail on the head in terms of the messaging that we need sales. I could get a DM on LinkedIn and it says, "Hi, Christopher. Really love that testimonial you got from whoever your top testimonial is that they scraped when they were trying to use this automated tool." And jumping right into, you seem like you really know what's going on. I can get you 25 leads in one day. Are you interested? I have something free. Give me a call. Dude, I'm not the audience for that, because I would either have to be really desperate for business for that to get my attention, because I don't like that tactic at all. I think it's very aggressive and I think it's tone deaf. But for some people, it works. The difference with when you're coming with LinkedIn lead generation, I have an approach that's a little bit different that I want to suggest. Okay. That is one approach, that spray and pray. How many invitations can we crank out with an automated message stream? And that is the whole freaking strategy. So it's getting lists of profiles, putting it into an external third-party tool, and pumping them into LinkedIn. As many invitations as I possibly can. I need a bigger network, a stronger network. I need more opportunities to connect. Oh, man. There are so many factors right there that you need to consider. If that's your strategy, you still have to consider the garbage in, garbage out approach, right? So again, we look at your audience, and that would be where I would start with my refinement. But my approach is just a little bit different than like I said already. And my approach is trying to get you to look at LinkedIn as an online event. Okay. It is a online event, say a networking meeting. Now, it's a networking meeting that has rules, but it's not like highly regulated. Like if you've ever gone to uh, BNI, which is very highly structured, what have you. This is much more loosey goosey. Anyone can do their own thing and have their own voice and connect however they like within, obviously, the rules and regulations of LinkedIn and its architecture. But with that said, you are human. People that you're trying to hit are human. And they're using LinkedIn because they're trying to keep up with friends, see what their competition's doing, see how their own content's performing, maybe look at some online events, get some ideas, do so. So all of these things don't have anything to do with buying your product. Okay. I don't go on LinkedIn to shop. Does anybody? So if I'm selling dog food, I'm not going to be like, oh, LinkedIn's my target audience. But why? Everybody out there has dogs. So many people. It shows that 40% of American males that are aged whatever. Let's think about this a little bit differently. You have people buy from people that they like, and people that they have respect for, and people that they find credible. Now, that is just on a regular basis, right? Have you ever had a salesperson who just totally sucked because they had a shitty attitude, they were unorganized, and they just didn't know how to close? So that's not a win, right? But what if that same salesperson remembered all of these personal details about you, would understand what your problems are that you're facing, and offer solutions unsolicited, not ending every message with, hey, if there's anything I can even do for you, here's the link to where you can find out more about my services, or constantly trying to push some sort of sales conversion or a meeting. That's not how people buy. So if we use that assumption that people on LinkedIn, much different than Facebook, much different than Instagram, much different than TikTok, different than X, Blue Sky, and so on and so forth, right? LinkedIn is an anomaly because it is a professional network. So I think that you should put on your professional guise of going out to a networking event. And what do you do when you're in that networking event? Do you immediately go and walk right into the middle of a discussion and thrust your business card in everyone's hand and do your elevator pitch? If you do, you're not very successful. You need to get in where you fit in and roll with the punches, and then see where you can start having that conversation or start having a voice in the group. This is no different at all than how you should be acting on LinkedIn. You do not bust into a LinkedIn group, throw an ad up for your company or service, and expect results. You don't write an article that is totally self-promotional, share it all over the place, and expect wonderful results. You have to do things that are helpful. You have to do things that are going to show that you are credible, that you have intelligence, experience, and you're someone that has the cool ideas that I want to hitch my wagon onto. Like for me, the people that are following my content understand that I give no bullshit advice. And I'm going to be unsolicited in how I write about my feelings, and I'm going to be very transparent. People really latch on to that because they like my honesty or my fresh take or whatever. Everyone has different reasons why they are attracted to another person's content. What I'm saying is, if you're going in there and every single thing that you're putting on that channel is a sales message, you're at a disadvantage. Now, if you have a company page and you want to put some sales messages through that, I think that's okay. But you need to have a content mix. But let's seg a little bit here. Let's segue into this lead funnel. So I think of a lead funnel a little bit differently than maybe a third party sort would, or another agency or a lead generation expert, what have you. This is what I see. When you are not connected to somebody, this is just basic 101 stuff that we want to take it back to. If you notice from listening to my podcast, I'm not telling you how to hack a GPT so that you can scrape leads and throw it onto an automated spreadsheet. There's people out there that are all trying to figure this shit out on a regular basis. So let them have that conversation. You go to them when you have your strategy straight, and I'm going to help you get that. I'm going to help you be able to look at things the right way. So then you can use that shit if you want to. It's up to you. And I'm not saying it's shit and demeaning it. Everyone has their own calling and specialty area. Mine is getting people really focused on the right things so they can measure goals, they can reinvent their campaign, and they know how to test. If you don't know how to do any of this and you go and hire a firm for lead generation, especially on LinkedIn, what the hell are you going to get out of that? Are you going to get something meaningful? Come on. Do you hire a salesperson just like, I don't give a shit what your background is? I don't even care. Just go and sell. I trust you. Rolling the dice. And they start murdering your reputation. Guess what will happen if you start doing this on LinkedIn to the wrong audience with the wrong message? You're going to start getting turned off. People are going to start reporting you, and then your account's going to get locked. And then you might even lose access to LinkedIn. Now, that's the worst case scenario, but I've seen it happen to people. None of my clients, thank God, but it does happen. And why? Because wrong audience, wrong message, wrong tone, wrong. But it was at a very high level. And one of those people book a call with me. Oh, Chris, I went with this lead generation company and they didn't book me one call. Your service is $150,000 for the sale. Do we think that we're going to send out a message to connect and we're going to get a meeting that's going to close in a sale? What am I, a magician? It's not how it happens unless I get someone that was an old prospect that you didn't follow up with or something. You know what I mean? That's a win. I like those too. I like low hanging fruit, but come on, that's not how it works. When I'm talking about, I'm going to give some terminology to this that kind of helps you understand what's cold and what's warm, and then how you can structure this funnel. So the first thing I want to really make sure that you understand is the level of connections that you have. A first level connection is someone that is already in your network and your list. So if we draw parallels to email marketing to these, this is why I'll say a list, but they're in your list, meaning that if you are in my list, sorry, you're in your contact and we're connected, then I can message you anytime about anything through DM. I can think of something came across my desk and I was like, wow, that's a really great thing. I'm going to share that with Jake. I can send that to Jake, no problem. Now, if I wasn't connected with Jake, I would have to connect with him first. He'd have to accept it, and then I'd have to send it. That is a second or third degree connection, meaning how many degrees of separation there are between someone in your network and this Jake person. But for simplicity's sake, first is you. Second plus is you're not connected to them. So these are people in your network and out of your network. So what you want to do is these two groups of people need to be talked to differently. I already know you. I connected with you. I may have even interacted with you. I'm a first degree connection. Hello. And then second, third plus, I don't even know who the hell you are. We may have some things in common. which why they would be secondary connection. But third beyond, no, nothing. So that's a cold person. So that has to be handled differently. Because I would talk to both of these people differently. If I've been connected with somebody on LinkedIn for 10 years, I'm not going to be like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm going to say something a little bit familiar or call out the fact that we've been connected for a while, maybe not talked. Okay, so now we're talking at the top of the funnel. Top of the funnel would be someone that you're not connected to. How would that person convert into your funnel, your sales funnel? You would get them to connect to you. So, how do you do that? You find them and you send them a connection request. Not too hard. So, what should I say in that connection request, Chris? I think I want to tell them everything. Okay, so I'm going to say, hi, Jake. I'm the leader of a digital marketing agency. We have these amazing new LinkedIn campaigns we want to tell you about. And just here's my phone number. Here's my fax number. Here's my blood type. What are you doing? Like when I see that, I look at it and I'm like, oh, you're pitching me. I look at their titles and I look how relevant they are if they're someone that I want to connect with. Different strokes for different folks, people. But I would say that if you're sending out many invitations to connect to people that you do not know and you've never met before, but are in the target avatar of your program, then I would skip the initial message and send something after you connect with them. Okay? If you send it in the initial message, a message about whatever the hell you want to say, you have the opportunity of them taking it the wrong way. If there's nothing there, there's no opportunity. It's just if they're willing to connect or not. So you can test this part of the first part of your funnel for the conversions and track them. How many invitations have you sent out? How many were accepted? Of the people accepted and you sent the follow-up message, thanks for connecting or whatever you want to say, how many people responded to that? Now we're getting into mid to bottom funnel. Now, when we're talking about mid to bottom funnel, with this whole funnel, this lead funnel, it's all about the level of engagement that you're getting. So these people are not in your network. You send them a connection request and they can say yes, or they can say no or not respond. These people need to be put off for a re-engagement campaign in the future. So if they didn't connect with you the first time, you can do it again later. So there's still opportunities there. Maybe they didn't see it in time. Maybe it expired. Maybe they said no because they had 100 invitations to connect and they want to just roll through it. So there's that. Then you have the people that say yes. The yeses will then break into two separate flows. The first flow will be people that are connected, you send the follow-up to, and they never responded to it. What I would say, this is a tip. I'm not going to get into all the messaging and how to do every single thing about this, but I'll give you enough insights to make you dangerous. What I would say is, hey, thanks for accepting my connection request. You were a suggestion in my network and I took a look at your profile and I was really interested in what you had to do. So hope we're able to learn from each other here. If there's anything I can do through my network to help you, give me a shout and get the hell out of there. Know what I didn't do? I didn't pitch my services. I didn't pitch my freebies. I didn't try to share a link to them. I didn't give them a calendar link. I didn't give them an email address. I just said, thank you. This is why I want to connect with you. And I hope this is what the future holds. And get the hell out. You're done. Now, what happens after that? Do they respond to that or do they not respond to that? If they respond to that, you should keep these people in an engaged. You won't be able to group these people. You can do it on Sales Navigator if you wanted to, but third party, there's lots of third party LinkedIn tools. I'm not naming them because there's a plethora of them out there that will help you organize these types of things. So if someone's engaged, you can put them into a list and then your future campaign with them, they're more engaged. You can ask their opinion, ask them something different, share an article that is next level, or even talk about something that's interesting at your company. You have more opportunities with those people. Then we have the people that didn't respond to your follow-up message. They need to be re-engaged because they haven't responded. Because the name of the game here is getting a response. Because when you get somebody talking, you can continue the conversation. But if you do not have any sort of conversation, what the hell are you doing? Like, you're not getting anything. You're not making any moves. Maybe they're silently looking at your stuff and going, wow, he's amazing. I'm going to keep him in mind next time that I have to have a project of this type. But I think it's better if you actually have a conversation with them because the goal here is that conversation. The goal is not a sales conversation, it's a conversation. You are the expert in the area that you are in, and they are the expert in the area that they're in. So, what are the intersections? What commonalities do you have? And this is where you have the different stages of your funnel. And this is very basic, but the one would be to get people into the funnel is the connection request. Once they accept it, they're in funnel, they're top funnel. Then you send the follow up message. Do they respond or do they not respond? If they do respond, they go into your engaged. If they don't, they go into re engagement. And then then you have the opportunity you have your people that are second, third connections that you can bring into your audience. You have your engaged, you have your re-engaged. So you have three different abilities to parts of your funnel. Then how are you going to use it next? What you want to do is keep in front of them and keep in front of them with non-sales related language, something that is personal to them and their industry, and something that they can latch onto and have an opinion on because you want their opinion, because you want to elevate them to expert status in their industry. What you want to do is give them messages and send messages to them that approach them as human being, elevates them to an expert status in their industry, and then find common ground. Common ground that you can find that will help build that relationship with this individual that can be good for future meetings, referrals, maybe recommendations on a good partner that they could utilize, and a lot more, is to relate to them. Find a common ground. Like, how can you find common ground? Are they in any groups that you're in? Do you have any connections in common that you could mention? Find commonalities. And that would be a way you can relate to one another. When do you do that type of thing? When you meet people. What do you do when you meet people? If you are the person that goes in the room and talks about every one of your damn accomplishments and all about yourself and your adorable kids and your dogs, and you haven't even asked what my name is, get the hell away from me. That's how a lot of people feel. And on LinkedIn, it's really easy to do because you can see by the length of a message how much they care about your time, how much they're respecting your opinion, or what they got to tell you. Hey, rando, this is how I'm going to sell this to you because I scraped your name from Sales Navigator. How can we be any more impersonal than that? What is less authentic than that? Some of you out there may argue that salespeople are meant to be salesy. If they have sales in their title, that's how it's going to be. There's different ways of selling on different platforms. So, for example, if you're having a webinar and the whole goal of the webinar is to sell something at the end, you offer that at the end. You don't do a sales pitch on the webinar. The webinar is built around sharing your expertise to build you up as a thought leader, make you credible, and bring people closer so they want to do business with you. What is that doing? That's building a relationship during the webinar that then pays off at the end. So why do you feel, and by the way, this is not a personal tag on every single person listening here. I'm just saying, being direct here. Why do we feel that's an okay thing to do? So now everybody has opinions and everyone is sensitive and everyone has feedback, and there could be negative feedback to this approach, much like there would be negative feedback to others. But I'm going to tell you that I've been using this for my clients for years, and it does create results. And if you have a high ticket value item, imagine that you're going to have to do this for a longer period of time. If you have something that is a little bit less expensive and more accessible, it can be a shorter amount of time that you have to nurture these leads. How would I know how long this would be? I would look at my sales cycle and I would model this after how long my sales cycle is. So if you have a service, a professional service that you're selling, and on a regular basis, from the first time that you engage somebody to the point of sale, it's 6 months. Why do you think LinkedIn's going to give you that sale in a month? I don't get it. I don't understand. Just because it's on social doesn't mean it's going to go faster. What it does is it reduces the noise around your message to that individual because it's contained on LinkedIn, not in their inbox on Mac Mail or Gmail or wherever the hell they're from. they're going to be flooded, right? There's going to be tons of emails from different coworkers and partners and projects and what have you. LinkedIn, it's probably just people that they know. And also, in many cases, the CEO has it on their phone and is looking at it. And this has become more of the case over the past 5 years, especially maybe 5 to 7 years. It's become more common for the LinkedIn mobile app to be used by a CEO. So if that is true, I'm able to get them on their phone. What would I do with that opportunity? What would you do with the opportunity if you were able to talk to a CEO directly in their inbox with a personal message that they would actually read? And you've been trying to call them, you've been getting stuck with gatekeepers, their emails are bouncing, they changed their email address, blah, 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 blah. Because everything they get is probably being looked at or screened. Maybe LinkedIn's not. And that gives you the opportunity because guess what? As a CEO, you're working all the time. So you're checking on stuff just because that's your muscle memory. You're doing this all the time. So if you're in a C suite, you tend to be plugged in a little bit more. So if that is the case, what else do I know is true? That's your opportunity. So if I had that opportunity, why would I waste it by sending a stinky, cold email feeling message to this individual? Because what are they going to do? If they're not very savvy, they're going to forward you information to their marketing department or whoever department is relevant to your inquiry. But it's not them. So you really need to think about what can you do to engage that person? What can you do to show that you understand who they are and you're interested in helping them or growing together or building a relationship? Now, I'm not making this into like how to date on LinkedIn. It's what it sounds like, how to build the perfect relationship. But I think we just need to really alter the way that we're looking when we're thinking about lead generation. Also, I think being very careful when you're crafting these messages that you're going to serve to this funnel that I've told you about with the connection requests, the people that are engaged with you, and the people that need re-engaging. You really want to make sure that you're not using templates that you found online. Why am I going to tell you this? Because I've seen the same templates used again and again on me. And I've seen the same templates used on email as well as DMs on multiple social platforms as well as LinkedIn. And there are LinkedIn templates I've seen just a lot. So if you think that, oh my gosh, look how much personalization this gives me. I can say, I noticed that recommendation on your profile, and I can mention some other things from the profile. Wow, that seems like I'm really taking a look at their profile. No, dude. Everyone's sending that same message with that same scraped data. So it's the same order. So the message is hitting the same notes. We all know it's fake because we're getting conditioned to understand that it's fake. So if you are trying to shoot up, you're trying to be a salesperson shooting for C suite, C suite's going to see messages that you're never going to see as a salesperson because you are not the target audience for sales stuff, unless it's sales training or whatever. But we get hit pretty hard. Usually, the more seniority a person has in the company, the more their inboxes are swelled. And that's because of experience and kind of tenure in the company. So use it as a different approach. Maybe don't sell so damn much. Maybe actually take some interest in the person that you're talking to and form a bond. And then, you know what? They're probably just going to ask about you. They're going to ask what you're up to. What are you up to? I do this all the time. So one of a message this morning I responded to, it was from one of my outreach campaigns that I do for myself, but I made it sure it's hyper relevant and hyper personalized because I don't want anyone to feel crappy when they're reading a message from me. I want them to have fun with it. And they said, thanks for the article. And so what am I supposed to do to that? Give them a thumbs up? No, they're talking to me. What can I say that continues the conversation? That is your opportunity to go to their damn profile, look at their content, and comment on something. Draw some sort of connection to you taking the time to learn more about them. And I was talking to on LinkedIn, there was someone who responded and said, hey, I loved your article. A great article. Thanks for sharing. And I said, wow, I'm glad you liked it. I like to share things like that. I noticed on your profile that you do a very specific niche type of public relations. Can you explain that? I'm not a public relations expert. I'm all over here in the digital world. Just curious. Tell me more. And she came back to me and she does a very specific type of PR that is, I can't remember the name of it right now, but she's doing things for people on death row and just really interesting. I've never heard of it before. So I said, wow, I've never heard of this before. How did this niche come about? She answered me fully and then said, wow, it looks like you've been around for a long time. Wow, and you have some really impressive credits. Do you guys do mutual referrals? And I was like, hell yeah. You want to talk? And I have a call with her next week. That's how it works. I'm not going out. I never talked about myself. I never pushed myself. I did nothing but provide value. But if you're providing value to someone that is not in your target audience, your message is wrong, you're not going to get any joy out of it. You need it to seem really authentic. When you are scaling a program like this and you're going to do it manually at first and see how it goes, and you have a really nice handle on it, as soon as you try to up it and automate this process, this is when that human touch kind of starts to die out. So you have to be very careful that you know exactly an approach that works manually before you automate. And you can do that through testing. So you can test a couple messages with the same audience to see how it goes. When I'm saying audience, title, geography, company, industry, everything has to be identical. And then just maybe A/B test a few different follow-up messages, a few different re-engagement messages, what have you. That's going to allow you to look and see and figure out what is the biggest hook or what are the two biggest hooks, and then use the hell out of them. Then you can scale because you'll be able to know what you need to do next. But I'm going to digress here slightly because the funnel on a LinkedIn lead generation campaign is simple. Now, I'm not telling you that I could go on and say, what you can do is as soon as they respond to you, you can automatically link them into your CRM and then do this and then do that. That is what everybody wants. Okay. Everybody wants just to start something on LinkedIn that feeds into the CRM so the salespeople will have people to call. I think that's okay. But you need to know how you're communicating on LinkedIn so that when it gets over to the salesperson. So if a salesperson is not doing this and you have an agency like me doing it, or you have your marketing person's doing it on behalf of sales, those salespeople need to be so in tune with how you're talking to people so that when they get on to that call, it's not a bait and switch because all of the marketing work will be killed and the relationship will die instantly. So if I'm like, wow, I find I'm really contemplative answers and comments. And then I get on with you and I don't remember any details about anything that you said to me. I have no idea who you are really, but I know that you're an opportunity to sell to. So that's what I'm here to do. And I'm going to sell to you. That's going to kill conversion. All right. So you need to make sure that whoever's running this campaign and managing it has a very close connection, rather, to the sales department and the sales process so that it can be filtered in. Once there's synergy there, you can automate. Thing is that people are so into automation. Everyone wants to automate everything. And do you know how much work it takes to automate something? Do you think that it's just, I saw this video on YouTube and it was 5 seconds long and it said I can automate this whole lead situation in 10 minutes? Wow, they're selling you the dream. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It takes a lot more because you have to know who your target audience is, what they want, what their problems are, how you're going to communicate with them, what your personal voice is, how you're going to track it, what you're going to follow up with. This is like a whole sales process, right? If you don't have that in place, what the hell are you automating? Data being shoved into your CRM that your salespeople don't even use? Do it manually. Try to figure out how to do it very 101 and then figure out what works and then see what elements of it that you can build automation into. I wish that everything in my agency could be automated immediately. Boom. All the tasks, everything that we need to do on a daily basis would be automated. But there's a couple things that are wrong with that. One, the world is constantly changing, so automations constantly break. So they're not a forever solution. Now, I know that, but how many people out there or their decision makers are going to really understand that? Because automation is lifted up as the be all and end all, and this is the holy grail. So we finally get to the Holy Grail and it breaks. There's going to be disappointment. There's going to be a backlash a little bit on whatever process, which could have you at the with the laser on the forehead. You know what I mean? You could be in the crosshairs of being the target for that. And you don't want that. So again, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because I could go out there and give you like 5 tools to automate your LinkedIn today. Guess how effective you're going to be at that? Not very, because you don't know exactly how to approach it. You don't know how to change your thinking. You don't know how to put a different lens on. Now, again, I'm generalizing. I know there's people out there that understand this, but it's really good for us all to be on the same page. When you are communicating in a lead generation facility, you need to be ultra personal, and you need to be ultra personal to the right person. So you need your targets to be precise. You need your outreach list to be clean. If you're hitting the wrong audience with the wrong message, you're going to get reported. You're going to be called a spammer, or they'll call you something else because it's just not a good fit. So make it a good fit. Make sure that you do your homework, get your stuff together, make sure that your messages are conversational, they're entertaining. I'm not saying do like a tight 15 stand-up comedy, but you could do things that are going to be exciting for people. And if you just had a baby or you just got a new dog, you can share personal details like that. This is how we get to know each other. Think about going to a dinner party and you're going with a bunch of couples, but there's 3 couples that are new. What do you do to get to know those people? You'll do that professionally, right? Have you ever been to because you'll just start off with different facts, right? Where do you work? How long have you worked there? But guess what? I know all this stuff because I can see your LinkedIn profile. So what can I ask after I know all this stuff here? So there are tools out there that help you analyze LinkedIn profiles to give you kind of things that would be good to point out to these people in conversations. There's lots of supplementary tools that can help you with this process. But you have to understand what the process is first before you start looking for tools and strategies, because it's not going to work. You have to have the groundwork that it's going to take a little bit of time. Yeah, I got 25 meetings in 1 week. Doing what? What are you selling? Are you trying to give something away? I could get meetings by saying free social media campaigns for life, be fully booked. But I don't want to do that. It's a waste of my time and the conversion is ridiculous, stupid. So why would I want to do that? You want to take it low and slow and then heat it up. How you are able to scale lead generation or relationship generation that's meaningful on LinkedIn is finding a campaign structure that works and duplicating it for different target audiences, trying to add new people on a regular basis, and engaging with the people that have moved into your network. That's the secret sauce. So it does take a lot of work. It does take a lot of wherewithal, research, data cleaning, what have you. But the payoff is great. You have access to people that you normally wouldn't have access to. You also would be able to possibly build referral networks or partner networks that you never really thought you might have access to without having to step on a plane, without having to go to a conference that you hate going to every single year, but you have to be seen. I'm not saying that will replace it fully, but you can get a lot of those same benefits from a very holistic and human forward approach on your LinkedIn lead gen. So, folks, that's going to be all the secrets that I have to share on today's episode. I'm sorry I'm going to be a little bit of a harpy today, but I've just gotten to the end of my LinkedIn rope with some of the messages that I've been seeing that I can't believe people are sending out still. It's such a false economy. They're not going to come to fruition. They are falling on deaf ears. And now they're starting to get manipulative. So it'll be like, hey, I thought you really loved this, and I have a couple of leads for you. Are you okay with some new leads? What's the answer? The answer is they're making the whole message so you will say yes. Basic tactics like that, getting 3 yeses means that you're going to be a client. It's a different world. So change your approach and your viewpoint on LinkedIn. And I think you will see a lot of really good results. Just try to keep it human, add value, know what kind of problems they would have that you could fix, and lean into that. And that's going to give you a lot of success. All right, folks, that is all that I have for you today on the Bulletproof Marketer. We have a couple great episodes coming up. I'm not going to tease the topics right now, but if you have listened to this episode or other episodes and you want more in terms of advice, or you have some follow-up questions or a show idea, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. My link is in the description on this show or this episode. And please go to thegoagency.com if you want to grab that AI guide. It's totally free. And then I will send you some additional info after that with some more ways that you can try out some prompts and things on AI to get yourself a little bit more comfortable with it. But my legends, until next week, this is Christopher Tompkins for the Bulletproof Marketer. It's great talking to you guys as always. See you soon.